First it was Sheryl Swoopes, and then now it is a good friend of hers, actually, that just lost her damn job, bruh. Yes!
Another one bites the dust. What if I told you the WNBA is quietly removing broadcasters who've spent the last year targeting Caitlin Clark? It's happening now. Cindy Brunson, one of Clark's loudest critics, has just been fired from the Phoenix Mercury broadcast team. And this isn't just a fever-related benching. She's off all broadcasts. Brunson, known for pushing false narratives about Clark, is officially out. In this video, we'll break down who she is, her history of anti-Clark commentary, and what moves the WNBA and the Mercury made to show they're no longer tolerating the smear campaign.
I'm telling y'all right now, you gotta pay close attention to what is happening in the W, dog. I spoke about this a few weeks ago. It seemed like every person that wronged Caitlin Clark in some way, shape, or form is no longer employed, is no longer in this.
Sheryl Swoopes was let go by Dallas just weeks ago, and now new details have emerged. Details we'll break down in this video. Could this be the WNBA finally cleaning house of the voices working to tear down its biggest rising star, Caitlin Clark? The shakeup is real, and it might only be the beginning. If you support these moves, drop a comment. Sheryl and Cindy deserve it. There's more to this story than you think. Ready to dive in? Let's go.
Someone else is not there. Look at Kennedy Carter. Kennedy Carter's going on streamer podcasts as of right now to try to get back in the W, bro. I mean, she's trying anything to be relevant.
Sure. Here's a unique and comprehensive 1,600-word script covering all the key points about Cindy Brunson's firing, her history of criticism toward Caitlin Clark, and the broader implications for the WNBA. Another one's out. First, it was Sheryl Swoopes. Now, it's Cindy Brunson. If you're wondering whether the WNBA has started cleaning house.
What, guys? The proof was in the pudding, because I'm here to tell you, she ain't got no damn job right now, and she's going to be going on Gilbert Arenas probably for her next employment.
Removing voices that have actively worked against the league's brightest rising star. Then you're not alone. The evidence is mounting. And it looks like the league has finally realized that allowing broadcasters to undermine Caitlin Clark isn't just bad PR. It's bad for business. To understand why this firing matters, you first need to know who Cindy Brunson is. She's been a recognizable voice in women's basketball for years.
But it can't truly be appreciated. Not only, you can't truly be appreciated. She showed up to a Caitlin Clark game wearing Sheryl Swoopes shoes. Like, she is as big, like, even looking back on it, she is as big as of a Caitlin Clark.
Formerly a SportsCenter anchor, Brunson became part of the Phoenix Mercury's broadcast team, giving her a platform to shape narratives around the league and its players. She wasn't just a casual observer. Brunson held real influence. For a while, she did her job like many others, offering play-by-play, providing historical context, and promoting the growth of women's basketball. But that changed dramatically with the rise of Caitlin Clark. Once Caitlin Clark became a household name, Brunson's coverage took a hard turn. Instead of celebrating Clark's record-breaking college career,
Brunson is saying that she just thought it was a doppelganger situation, and that this wasn't Sydney Colson trying to make fun of Monica Stanano, then maybe, like, it wouldn't look as bad, but her explanation was awful. But at the same time, like, it was very clearly Sydney Colson was trying to make fun of a college student. You're almost 50 years old, why are you on this app causing so much?
And historic entry into the WNBA, Brunson began to discredit her at every turn. She consistently downplayed Clark's achievements, suggesting that her records weren't as legitimate as those of WNBA legends like Sheryl Swoopes. And while comparisons across eras are nothing new, in sports, Brunson's tone was striking. What could have been a healthy debate about generational talent turned into a campaign of criticism. So consistent, it felt personal. Before Caitlin Clark even played a...
This is the dumbest response ever. It was literally from last year, not years ago, and you were laughing at a professional WNBA player intimating that a young woman in college looks like a man. There's literally date at the bottom. So what's become blatantly obvious that you're really good at holding fans to a different standard you hold yourself, which is worse. And this would be like, she probably could have explained herself better, but like, and in fairness, she did say in hindsight she didn't. Didn't. But this is the worst tweet. The pictures look like a doppelganger situation. I'm sorry that's not good enough for you, but that's the truth. And the college player was a grad student who was... What?
Professional game. Brunson was already laying the groundwork to undercut her legacy. She often inserted Swoopes' name into conversations unprompted, using her as a yardstick to question whether Clark deserved the hype. Rather than elevate the game through intergenerational celebration, Brunson created division. She fed the narrative that Clark was being handed stardom she hadn't earned, completely ignoring her dominance at Iowa, her leadership, and her transformative impact on women's sports viewership. Perhaps most bizarrely, she started promoting a rumor that Kelsey Mitchell, an established star for the Fever, wanted out of Indiana. This came despite Mitchell never publicly suggesting she was unhappy. In fact, Mitchell had expressed support for Clark and excitement about the team's future. Brunson's claims weren't rooted in facts. They were speculation, presented as insight. That kind of commentary can damage a team's chemistry, especially one in a pivotal rebuilding phase with high expectations. It wasn't just irresponsible, it was potentially destabilizing. And then there were her attacks on the Fever's fan base. Brunson didn't just critique playstyle or coaching decisions. She actively antagonized supporters. Her commentary crossed a line from critical to inflammatory. Rather than appreciate the energy Clark brought to the league or the renewed national attention, Brunson seemed to resent it. She took aim at fans celebrating Clark's milestones, mocking them and minimizing their understanding of the game. This alienated a growing, passionate base at the very moment the WNBA needed them most. The disdain was palpable, and fans noticed. During a broadcast, Brunson laughed off a segment in which she was seen poking fun at Shinano's appearance, later claiming it was simply a doppelganger situation. But even when called out, she refused to reflect on how her actions might be interpreted or how they could affect a young player's confidence. She dismissed it outright. Her inability, or unwillingness, to take accountability only fueled the fire. This wasn't about basketball anymore. It was about professionalism, or the lack thereof. One insider summed it up bluntly. Brunson went full Swoopes, and if you followed this saga, you know exactly what that means. Sheryl Swoopes, another former legend-turned-commentator, was let go weeks earlier after similarly relentless attacks on Clark. Like Brunson, Swoopes seemed threatened by Clark's meteoric rise and used her platform to question everything from Clark's media coverage to her court performance. Neither Swoopes nor Brunson adapted to the shifting landscape. Instead of celebrating the game's growth and helping guide new fans, they resisted it hard, and it backfired. The WNBA has been riding a wave of unprecedented attention, thanks in large part to Caitlin Clark's entry into the league. Ticket sales are booming, media coverage is expanding, sponsorships are up, but this growth is fragile, and public perception matters more than ever. When voices inside the league actively try to tear down its biggest star, it creates internal tension and sends the wrong message to fans, especially new ones just discovering the sport. By removing Brunson, the Phoenix Mercury and the WNBA have sent a clear signal. The league won't tolerate personal vendettas disguised as commentary. Constructive criticism? Absolutely. But character assassination? That's a line they're no longer willing to let people cross. Let's be clear. No one is saying broadcasters shouldn't offer analysis or disagree with popular narratives. Sports are built on debate. But there's a difference between critique and sabotage. Brunson didn't just question Clark's skill or fit with the Fever. She led a one-woman crusade to devalue her presence in the league. And that kind of energy doesn't just hurt one player. It hurts the league, the teams, and the fans. The WNBA has every right to enforce standards of professionalism among its media partners. That's not censorship. That's just business. This moment goes beyond just one firing. It's part of a bigger shift happening in the WNBA, a league that's finally starting to understand its value and protect its brand. The days of gatekeeping coverage and downplaying star power are ending. If you're in a position of influence, you have a responsibility to elevate the game, not tear it down from within. And that means making room for new stars and new fans while holding broadcasters accountable for their words. This is a league on the rise, and with that rise comes growing pains. But cleaning house of toxic commentary is a necessary step toward long-term success. Cindy Brunson is gone. Sheryl Swoopes is out. And if others are taking notes, They should understand that the WNBA is serious about protecting its players, especially those who are driving the league's growth. The message is clear. You can be critical, but you can't be cruel. You can offer analysis, but you can't build your brand on bitterness. And if your commentary reveals more about your insecurities than the player you're talking about, don't be surprised if the league moves on without you.